The antique doll. There was a young woman who lived alone in a quiet little house on the edge of town. She had a strange passion, a passion for dolls. Porcelain dolls, rag dolls, old cracked dolls from thrift shops. Her shelves were lined with glass eyes and smiling faces, each one carefully dusted and adored. One day, she discovered an antique shop selling a doll unlike any she had ever seen. It was Victorian, dressed in a tattered lace gown, its porcelain face yellowed with age, its glass eyes cold and lifeless. She was thrilled. She ordered it immediately. But she didn't know the doll's history. The last family who owned it had passed away. Their neighbors whispered of shadows moving in their windows, of footsteps in empty rooms, of voices calling out at night. When the police entered, they found the doll sitting in a chair, facing the doorway, as though it had been waiting. The family's deaths were ruled mysterious. The doll was sold at auction, and now it was hers. The first night it arrived, she placed the doll in her bedroom, proud to finally own such a rare treasure. She smiled as she drifted off to sleep, but at midnight, the scratching began. She woke to the sound of tiny fingernails scraping across wood. Her eyes darted to the corner. The doll was no longer on the shelf. It was sitting in the chair by her bed, its head tilted slightly, watching. The next morning, she told herself she was imagining things. Dolls don't move. Dolls can't move. She placed it back on the shelf, but the nights grew worse. Doors creaked open on their own. Lights flickered. She would hear faint laughter, a child's giggle echoing down the hallway. And every night, the doll was somewhere new. On the kitchen counter, on the stairs, at the foot of her bed. One night, she woke to the sound of whispering. Low, broken words she couldn't understand. Her eyes adjusted to the dark, and she saw the doll standing upright, its porcelain hands slowly turning its own head. Cracking it sideways until it faced her, she froze. Her body refused to move. The doll began to walk, its tiny porcelain feet clicking against the wooden floor. Closer, closer. The whispers grew louder. The next morning, her neighbors knocked on her door. There was no answer. Days passed. No one saw her again. When the police finally broke in, they found her house quiet. The shelves of dolls stared blankly. The rooms were neat and still, and sitting at the dining table was the antique doll. Its cracked porcelain lips stretched into a smile. In its lap sat another doll, one that looked exactly like her. And to this day, the doll waits for its next owner, for its next home, for its next soul to claim, because some dolls aren't meant to be collected,